they were probably just like me, wishing and wondering when they would be who they could be, disregarding limitations, creating new paths forged from mind's speed. Desire to create, they could not wait, embracing opportunity like hugging an oak tree. Nature and me go way back. Organic beauty in the clouds, ground, sky, an abyss of wonder, love, and newness. I look into my future with loving embrace, critical of my past, in love with my past, embracing the past so I can grace forward, onward, toward the same goal as the ones before, newness and ingenuity, creation and peace of mind, bliss. I follow in the paths, the ones beautifully carved for me. How lucky can I be? Stonework with a strong foundation, a path built with love and careful consideration. Organic beauty at its finest. Organic waves of flowing art, made on top of, made inspired by, made, created. To create is to succeed. To create is to succeed. To create is to succeed. I must be doing it right. Stepping in the same shoes as the ones before, but making my own footprint. I live in the 3 arts, jumping from branch to branch as the waves of creativity carry me. Visual art, performative art, livable art. I strive to be the bridge to connect it all together once I could sort through the leaves myself. Sorting through until I find clarity for a universal connection. I live in the 3 arts. The visual, the performative, the livable.
Everything happens for a reason. As I reflect on the days I sat in art history, soaking in the refreshing escape from the elitist energy of Stevenson's Ranch, California, I began to swim in new waters of understanding what art could be, stretching myself to finally realizing that I could not sit comfortably in one box. Sally Rush graced us with her passion as an educator, her passion for art, and her passion for artists. For the artist is so much more than what is left of them, so much more than what they are famous for. Did fame kill the artist? Or is it finally the elevation of rightfully deserved respect? The past, present, and future is something that artists are constantly involved in. And that when we study artists, we cannot do so one-dimensionally. Artists will forever be preserved in multiple dimensions. How did their art reflect the past that was true to them? How did their art subconsciously shape the future? And how did creating that piece shape themselves? Thinking about art has a meditative quality to it, dissecting it with an exclusive you-colored lens. The work of Kara Walker has stuck with me. Lasting impressions of female badassery. Storytelling is the root of my artistic journey, and Walker introduced me to a whole new world of it all. She exposes the reality of the lives of our ancestors, and she does so in bold. She is known for using black-cut paper silhouettes against white walls to create panoramic friezes to address the reality of American history, violent and unsettling imagery to depict slavery and racism. She incorporates stereotypes, folklore from antebellum South with an essence of pop art. Walker has created a wide variety of art exploring all kinds of mediums. She has mastery in storytelling throughout her work. Some people may call her work controversial. Some of her work has even been taken down. She is an inspiration to pushing boundaries and forever speaking truth to her power, challenging how we should look at American history. She was influenced at an early age by her father, who is an artist and educator, Larry Walker. By age 3, she had decided that she was going to be an artist just like her dad. Her other influences included Andy Warhol, Robert Cole Scott, and Adrian Piper. Larry Walker is an American artist, educator, and father of Kara Walker. Art is very much so a Walker family affair. He lived in Harlem in the 1940s, where he drew inspiration largely by urban life and his 145th Street community. He is known for his multimedia collages reflecting current events. His early inspirations as a young artist were Cezanne, Rauschenberg, and Theobald. Andy Warhol was a leader of pop art. His work oozed with exploration and echoed the obscurity of the 1960s. He worked throughout all mediums: paint, silkscreening, photography, film, and sculpture, even producing rock bands, the Velvet Underground, and founding the magazine Interview. The Pope of Pop. He was wildly inspired by American culture and consumerism. And his fellow artists of his time, Robert Rauschenberg, Jasper Jones, and Marcel Duchamp. Robert Cole Scott was an American artist and educator. He grew up with music as a huge inspiration for his life, as his mother was a pianist and father was a classical jazz violinist. He was a drummer at an early age. His artwork is known as being satirical, and he uses his experiences as an African American as subject for his work. In the mid-1970s, he began to incorporate Black people into iconic paintings, such as Monet's Olympia, Van Gogh's Potato Eaters, and Jane Van Eyck's Arolfino portrait. He studied and taught in Cairo, Egypt, where he was able to connect with his African ancestry. He was inspired by Ferdinand Léger, Sergeant Claude Johnson, and Diego Rivera. Adrian Piper is a widely influential conceptual artist and philosopher. As a white passing Black woman, Piper's art opens up the dialogue of the politics of race and identity. Her work introduced lots of performance art, shaping and expanding what the word art can encompass. Yoga was an important part of her lifestyle, as well as that advocacy for a traditional Eastern approach to yoga philosophy. Along with her Iyengar practice, Piper's work was widely influenced. I am proud to say that I have derived from a multiracial, theatrical, expressive, and wildly creative family that has nurtured my artistic mind ever since I left the womb. Singing, songs, dancing and grooving, storytelling and improvisation, martial arts for expression and defense, and the stage. Crystal and Matthew Viverito have forever shaped my life. My nurturers, my first loves, the ones who watched me grow and allowed me to glow, leading me to embracing my roots. The Black, Irish, French Cree queen, and the Sicilian, Norwegian, Egyptian king. We are my American dream, a happy hippie melting pot born from the slavery we endured, the immigration we endured, the homestead we endured, to being here now, unapologetic of who we are, unapologetic of our long, luscious roots. My family has forever inspired me and helped me. I was lucky to be introduced to the theatrical arts at such a young age. Theater has been a long-standing Viverito family affair. Every character I've embodied plays a role in my life too. Being involved in theater collaboration through the Mountain Shakespeare Festival at age 4 is where I solidified my passion for performing. Being a part of the collaborative and seeing how actors worked set me on this journey of storytelling. Through Shakespeare, I was exposed to realism, the works of Arthur Miller, Eugene O'Neill, Tennessee Williams. These works gave me a whole new place on the stage, feeding into the reality of life, stepping out of the heightened prose. American realism allowed me as an actor to explore the beauty of subtext and a new sense of character exploration. And then, devised. When I first heard about devised work, it felt like a sort of liberation. I was finally free. For so long, I naively thought that I, as an actor, was bound to waiting for words to give meaning to. Devised work gives the freedom of creation right into our hands. If I were to make a soundtrack for my life, It'd be a majority of reggae, jam bands, punk, and R&B. All this music has taught me to speak truth to power, to use my art as activism, to expose, to heal, to connect, and that music is meant to soothe the soul and to move to. Dance meditation is an essential part of my life. Through dance, I feel free. Through dance, I feel connected. Through dance, I feel me. Being exposed to contact improv gave me a deep boost of confidence to dance freely. Contact improv is an improvisational dance form developed by Steve Paxton in the 1970s. It is rooted in exploring movement with others and through fundamentals in sharing weight, touch, and movement. Contact improv jams are a space of meditative, connective flow, and it has deeply inspired my dance meditation practice. The artists who quite literally shape our day-to-day lives. Architectural design is art I am always coming into contact with. When I first saw the works of Frank Gehry, Zaha Hadid, and Frank Lloyd Wright, I really wanted to design buildings. They taught me to be wildly creative and to push every boundary I can. I started seeing architecture I was inspired by everywhere I looked. But I was really unsettled with the disregard for the environment in most of the designs I saw. Hey, welcome to my tiny house build. Sustainable living is the most important aspect of my life. I am always trying to shrink our large footprint. The movement I've been most inspired by is the tiny house movement. The tiny house movement is a social and architectural movement. Simple living is what it's all about. Living in America, I've been embarrassed of so many of our cultural norms. We live with little regard to our earth and our fellow inhabitants. As I build my first tiny house, I'm being aware of my environment, as conscious as I can, and liberated to the knowledge of my building my own shelter. Me and my dad designed this and are building it together. It's the most exciting thing I think I've ever done to literally be building a house. I've always wanted to design my own residence, and being a part of the tiny movement has given me the opportunity to do so. I never thought at age 19 I'd be able to do this. I'm so thankful and so happy, and I can't wait to get it solar powered.
My roots stay here and they extend to the ones before. A carried path through Mother Earth. Time and space don't exist. My artistic lineage, always evolving, ever-growing branches of this tree of three. The visual, the performative, the livable. To create is to succeed. To create is to succeed. To create is to succeed.